Hello, today is April 26, 3:40 p.m. And today I have chosen the topic coronavirus. I've been teaching virology, veterinary virology for more than 20 years, actually probably 24 years. And I did my MS in Immunology and Virology at James Cook University in Australia. But I have retired already from teaching at Central Luzon State University. So now I'm here at the United States and pursue a new degree, which is associate degree in nursing. Now that we are being plagued by a pandemic called COVID-19, I can really recall my knowledge in virology. Well, going back to what I've learned about coronavirus, well, most of these viruses cause respiratory infection. And actually, when the pandemic was declared, I was surprised about the indecisiveness of government authorities, including the World Health Organization, of requiring the public of wearing a mask. That's why I told my friends and my sister, who's also a nurse, I just don't know what particular textbook are they using for references. But of course, all respiratory infection, usually they are droplets. And mask, of course, is one of the number one most important way of preventing you from catching the said disease or the said virus. So, social distancing, although there is some merit on it, I really don't buy that, because once you sneeze and cough, the particles that you sneeze out, including the rest, goes beyond 6 feet, and I think it's more than 20 feet. So what's the use of those social distancing if those particles can reach beyond 6 feet? Actually, in China and in most Asian countries, in most respiratory pandemic, they've been using masks. And it's only now that the United States, the World Health Organization, and European countries are encouraging or even requiring people to wear masks. So if there's somebody to blame why this COVID-19 have really spread too much in the United States and Europe, well, we could only blame probably the government and the World Health Organization for not promoting the mask. And I think the only reason why they didn't promote it, because as the World Health Organization officials said that the mask should be used by the people or the frontliners in taking care of COVID-19 patients, because they're afraid that if they will promote the use of masks for public, the world will run out of masks and the frontliner won't be able to use it. But you know what? If they will allow the public to use the mask and prevent them from getting the COVID-19, at least our frontliners will not be overworked, Now, since many of the public are not wearing masks and they are catching COVID-19, so there's so many patients going to the hospital. So I really don't know. But for me, it is really a lot of a big question mark why they haven't really promoted masks in the first place. And now, look, many government in Europe and even here in the United States are now promoting masks for people to wear it. But still, you could see a lot of people, not wearing masks. Here, there's a Texas, you go to Walmart, to HEB. You'll see probably 40% people wearing the mask. It's either they don't give a shit whether they catch it or not, or they really don't know anything about what coronavirus is. And then with regards to treatment, they're now using, of course, plasma containing antibodies. And I just don't know why interferon has not been brought out regarding one of the treatment. Because I remember during the AIDS virus epidemic, interferon is being used by some in treating AIDS. Interferon is also like antibodies. The only difference is that antibodies is primarily produced by the white blood cells, and while the interferon are actually produced by all infected cells. All the cells in the body have the capability of producing interferon. Once a cell has been infected by a virus, it will try to produce interferon. Actually, the beauty about interferon is that it's non-specific to individual, just like the antibodies. It can be used to anybody. And the purpose of this interferon is that the cells that have been infected by the virus, it releases it and try to prevent other healthy cells from being infected by the virus. So it's a way by which the cell tries to protect its sister cells in the body. So probably that could be one thing that scientists should look at, interferon. And with regards to vaccine, well, I'm sure it's almost in the horizon. I heard that Oxford scientists are about to test the vaccine either this month or next month. And it's not only viruses probably that is very dangerous, because we have far more simpler organisms, or the infective protein particles that are much simpler than virus, because basically virus are either portions of DNA or fragments of DNA and RNA enclosed by a capsule. But what I'm referring to is the viroid and the prion. The viroid is just an infectious particle. It's not even a fraction of a nucleic acid. It's just a self-replicating protein. And before we had this issue of encephalomyelitis. I forgot the name of that specifically, but it's about something to do with the brain of the cow that has been infected by this. In human, there is also, this is called Kuru disease, but it was discovered in New Guinea, and this was caused by prion. So viroid is like prion, but basically usually it's a plant-based. And so in other words, there are far more simpler, dangerous agent out there that could cause havoc on our health. And lastly, that I will talk about is pandemics or epidemics. I have taught public health and microbiology, and nature will always try to balance population of species on this planet. And pandemic is one way by which nature tries to balance everything. And every time there is a pandemic, not only in human, but in all other species of animal and plants, there will always be some resistant member of the species that will survive. That's why during this pandemic, you will hear people who have survived and have developed immunity. That's it. That's the purpose of nature, really. To clean up the population, those that are resistant and non-resistant. But of course, that would sound very cruel, But that's how nature works, Actually, man is cheating nature. And if we don't want pandemic to occur again, then man have to learn to respect nature. By respecting nature and acknowledging our role, then probably we could do better. Now, with this pandemic, I'm sure everything will change. And we won't know what would be the next, what normal really is after pandemic has gone. But this would not be the last pandemic that we're going to have. We're going to have it again. And I hope hopefully governments and the public would be ready next time. Okay. Be safe to everyone, and may God help us Thank you for listening.